الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, first we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again. Allah has granted us the tawfiq and Allah has afforded us to perform our Maghrib Salaah with Jama'ah. Alhamdulillah. We make dua, Allah accept our salah, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us sincerity and istiqamah. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. Yeah, last week we've discussed, and this week we continue with our tafsir of the Surah Al-Fajr. And last week we have discussed where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the qawm of Aad and Thamud. As for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as a reminder and as a lesson for Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that all other nations before, all other prophets before, they went through the same difficulty and trials that you are going through, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That Rasulullah, we found that he was tortured by the Quraysh, was boycotted, everyone turned against him. His own family the uncles turned against him. So we found Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah revealing certain ayat and certain stories of the people from before as a reminder for Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and as a comfort to the heart of Rasulullah. Oh Muhammad, you're not the only one who went through this. All other Anbiya went through the same thing. And Allah mentioned specifically Aad and Thamud. Why? Because Allah in Surah Al-Fajr, Allah mentioned that Allah never created any nation like Aad and Thamud. In terms of the abilities Allah has given to them, the power Allah has given to them, like how they could carve houses out of mountains, and the size and the power and the strength Allah has given to them. And as we have learned that when the Prophet Hud alayhi salam came to them, Allah destroyed them on account of what reason? Two things Allah mentioned in the Quran, Mufassirun mentioned, because of the arrogance and the ingratitude of the people of Aad and Thamud. When the Prophet came to them, the prophets came to remind them about the wonders of Allah, they became arrogant. They became arrogant. Said, who are you to tell us to worship Allah? No one is more mighty than us. And then these qualities and attributes that they had, this power and ability Allah has given to them, they ascribed it to themselves. There was no Allah to them. This is because of my ability, and I did, and because of me that I am so powerful. And because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them. And Allah mentioned Surah Haqqa, how Allah sent a wind for 7 or 8 days. That wind completely destroyed them. They were laying like empty, like dead palm trees, trunks laying around, says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the power reminding Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam about the difficulty he is going through. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one who is watchful over everything. That Allah is in control over everything. And that's why we find immediately after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we start off with tonight's verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immediately after mentioning the story of Aad and Thamud, and Allah speaks about Fir'aun. We never touch on the story of Fir'aun and how Fir'aun is to torture the people. وَفِرْعَوْنَ ذِي الْأَوْتَادِ. And Fir'aun, some Mufassirun has mentioned, they say that Autad, it refers to the armies which Fir'aun sent out to torture the people. And not only that, as we've learned in Surah Naba'a, Autad wal Jibala Autada, that mountains were like Allah created like pigs in this dunya. Now Autad, Fir'aun, they used to torture the people. They say they used to torture, Mufassirun mentioned, they used to peg them and used to hang them up. This is the means of how he used to torture people. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ طَغَوْا فِي الْبِلَادِ فَأَكْثَرُوا فِيهَا الْفَسَادِ, who did transgress beyond bounds in this land and made therein much mischief. Fir'aun and his army. فَصَبَّ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّكَ سَوْطَ عَذَابٍ. That even Fir'aun and his mighty army was no challenge for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How Allah destroyed them one after the other. And then Allah in tonight's verse, Allah starts and Allah says, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَبِالْمِرْصَادِ. Verily your Lord is ever watchful. Verily Allah is ever watchful, says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Mirsad, the Mufassirun mentioned, Mirsad is normally like a place where the army lay hiding, waiting to ambush the enemy. So Allah is waiting, and Allah is ever ready to punish the people, those who transgress and cause dhulm and oppression over others. And Allah don't need to wait. Allah can cause and destroy at any time, whenever Allah wants. So Allah is telling Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam Allah is watchful. Allah is ever watchful over us. Allah is ever aware of what the enemies do. Allah is aware of what those who transgress and cause dhulm. Allah is aware of what they are doing. And Allah will one day, Allah will take them to task. And Allah will send this punishment. If it is not in this dunya, Allah will definitely on the day of Qiyamah, Allah will take them to task. Likewise for us, this is a reminder for us that Allah is ever watchful over us as well. Whatever we do in life, whatever we're busy with, whatever we engage in, that Allah is the one who is mindful, and Allah is never unmindful of His servant. There's not a second in this dunya that Allah is unmindful of us. Every second of our lives, Allah is mindful and Allah is aware of what we do in this dunya. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala carries on, and Allah reminds insan, me and you, of certain of our qualities. فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَّمَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمَنِ. Allah says in this chapter, Ibn Kathir rahimahullah states that wealth and poverty are both a test and honor or disgrace for a servant. Allah says there are certain people, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as for man, when his Lord tries him, Allah tests a person by Allah giving him honor, and Allah opens up the doors of rizq and bounties to that person say that indeed Allah has honored me. So we find a group of people say, Allah, there are those people, Allah open up the doors of bounties for them. Allah gives them honor in this dunya, and then they say, for indeed they become happy that Allah has honored us. Allah has honored us and Allah loves us, that's why Allah has given us these things. And then Allah says, وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ فَقَدْرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانًا. But when he tries him by straightening his means of life, and he says, my Lord has humiliated me. That when Allah restrain, Allah keep away a little bit, things become tough, and then the person said, Allah has humiliated me. And here Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, that's why he says that wealth and poverty both are a test from Allah. It can both mean a humiliation and a destruction for that person, or it can both mean an honor for that person. All depending how me and you look at it. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in so many places in the Quran, that Allah states in the Quran, for example, Allah says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ يَعْبُدُ رَبَّهُ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. There are those people who worship Allah on the edge. Meaning they worship Allah on the edge, and the Mufassirun mentioned the sabab al-nuzul, and the reason why Allah revealed it. In the time of Rasulullah, many people embraced Islam, but there were those people who embraced Islam for the reason of personal benefit, material gain and benefit. So embraced Islam, and they saw things are going well, and when things went a bit difficult, when things became a bit tough, now they say that Allah has humiliated us, and then they turned back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why Allah has revealed that ayah in many places in the Quran. And that's why the Mufassirun mentions that likewise from another angle, if Allah tests him and tries him by curtailing his sustenance, he believes that it's because of Allah's humiliating him and Allah's anger and destruction upon him. Allah says, Kalla. Allah says, Kalla, no, but no. Meaning the matter is not like how we claim. Neither in this nor in that. For indeed Allah gives wealth to those whom He loves, as well as those whom He does not love. Likewise, He withholds sustenance from those whom Allah loves, and from those whom He does not love. So when we have of this dunya, it's not a sign of Allah's love for us. When we don't have of this dunya, it's not a sign of Allah's displeasure with us. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we end up with this hadith, where Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Inna Allah yu'ti dunya liman yuhib wa liman la yuhib. That Allah gives dunya and the treasures of this dunya to those who Allah love, and to those who Allah doesn't love them. وَيُعْتِ الدِّينِ إِلَّا لِمَن يُحِبُّ. But if you really want to see the value Allah has given to a person, then if Allah has given you iman, and that is a sign of Allah's love for you, says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah has given us iman, that is a sign of Allah's love. So the love for Allah, the love Allah for us is not based on what we have in this dunya. That can be a means of a test for us, which will bring us closer to Allah, or it can be a destruction for us. It will take us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah to give us a tawfiq and understanding. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who realize that Allah is ever watchful over us. And secondly, that Allah grant us the ability to accept whatever Allah condition whatever condition Allah has given to us, whether it is prosperous, whether it is difficult, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all conditions, and through that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely grant us that sakina and the tranquility. We ask Allah to give us the tawfiq and understanding. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.